Hi everyone, my name is Genesis Higueros, and today we will be discussing implicit prejudices and how we can overcome our own through recognition and acknowledgement. Implicit prejudices include implicit racial associations, unconscious patronizing, race-influenced perceptions, and reflexive body responses. An implicit racial association is when an individual carries negative associations towards a race. An example of an implicit racial association is unconsciously believing that, for example, all Mexicans are lazy. That is a negative association with that race. And because of that, individuals tend to hang out with their own groups. And we can change this by acknowledging the fact that we do this. Unconscious patronizing is when someone lowers the expectation of others or inflates the praise. Unconscious patronizing is better explained through an example. For my situation, I am an environmental engineer, and when I mention this to certain people, they are incredibly surprised. They're like, "Wow, really, engineer?" Like, as if it's something impossible for me as a woman or Latina to accomplish. So that is something that would be considered unconscious patronizing. The last implicit prejudice that we will be discussing today is called racial influence perceptions. Now, these are just automatic racial biases. A current example of a racial influence perception would be the incident that occurred on April 12, 2018 in Philadelphia at a Starbucks. Two young black men were arrested after a Starbucks employee called the cops on them for looking suspicious, but in reality, they were only there for a business meeting. In this example, the Starbucks employee had perceptions that were racially influenced and not justified. That act is considered a racial influence perception. The reason why we have been discussing some unconscious prejudiced behaviors is so that we can consider the value of open-mindedness. If we become more aware of the biases that we hold, and we notice those daily thoughts and we don't try to push them away, then we will have the ability to improve our unconscious and automatic biases. We may not be able to control our microexpressions because they are unconscious and implicit, yet if we acknowledge them and also acknowledge our prejudices, then we will have the ability to control our behaviors in the future. Thank you, everyone. My name is Genesis Higueros, and have a wonderful night.